everybody, to another episode of the world's greatest news and reviews. Today we're going to be talking about Daredevil Season 2. We're going to have an in-depth conversation. Spoiler alert, if you have not seen Daredevil Season 2, do not watch this video. Well, watch Daredevil and then come back and watch this video. So yeah, we're going to get really heavy into spoilers. We're going to ruin everything. So, let's get started. Daredevil Season 2. I think that the runaway was the Punisher. I think that's what everybody was excited for. That's what everybody wanted to see. And what did everybody think of John Bernthal as the Punisher?
He's no longer Shane. He's the Punisher.
I don't know about that.
It's not Shane to me. He's the Punisher.
Well, Shane's dead. Oh,
every time he scratches his head, though, he's Shane to me.
I don't. He took the. That's him now. He's the Punisher.
John Bernthal.
To me.
I think we could all agree how Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark.
Right.
Fucking Bernthal is the Punisher.
Yeah, exactly.
He was that good.
Yeah.
You guys, were you excited when you heard the announcement of his casting, all that kind of good stuff?
No, I didn't hear about it.
I'm with you though. I wasn't excited when I heard it. I was like, oh.
As soon as I saw that, I was like,
really?
yes.
I was like, let's see. I'm not sure.
One day, Daredevil 2 popped up on Netflix, and I was like, oh, I'm going to binge this.
So I'm working on my sarcasm, and I think that's what that was.
No.
Okay, so I will say this. As a whole, we all agree Daredevil Season 2 was great. It was fucking phenomenal. And I think it started off really strong. I love the opening sequence of the first episode where it's just chasing the random dudes through the city and people are like helping him and shit. And then it pans up to the top of him watching them get arrested, and he has like this big ass smile on his face because he's just totally getting off on it. Like, he's better at being Daredevil now. He's better at fighting. He's better at everything, right? I think, though, when the Punisher was on screen, he stole the fucking show. Almost to the point of Kingpin last season, right? Like, I almost didn't care about Daredevil. Yeah. Not that he wasn't good, he was great, but Punisher's story was just so intriguing. My criticism, though, I love that they got right into it, and all of a sudden, episode 1, they're throwing down on the rooftop, and I was like, holy shit, they found each other really quick. I thought there was going to be a little bit more of a build-up. There was going to be 2-3 episodes go by before they even realize it's like one dude doing it. I love the fact that they thought it was another gang or another group of people when it was just like one guy. Did you think that felt a little too fast? Did you guys like the pacing on it?
I loved it. Because too many movies you go. And that's what my expectation was. It's going to be, like you said, 2-3 episodes before we find out, or before they come across each other or whatever. But with this series, it was like right away, episode 1. Yeah.
I remember we were watching it together and we were just like, holy shit, like they're going. Like,
at the end of it, we're like,
yeah, we're just like, what just happened? Oh my god.
They didn't even really do any background until later on in the season.
I figured they would do that because that's what they did with Wilson Fisk also.
Yeah.
And like, what was cool too is like they didn't even really get in depth of his background, and I still think that worked.
They dealt with it matter of fact. They gave you the information that you needed, but they didn't have to run through a 30-minute flashback
or
of what happened.
Big ass exposition. They didn't need to do any of that.
Yeah, that didn't need to happen, and I thought it was well handled.
So, of the two of them, there's 2 conversations that really stick out to me. The rooftop one, which we're going to touch on now. Okay, what did you guys think of that? When Daredevil was chained up, and they're kind of having their opposing ideologies conversation. Because I was losing my shit. I thought that was amazing.
I thought he went a little excessive on the chains. Like, where did you get that much chain from? Like, really?
Well, where did he get all the guns from?
Like,
come on. Like, it's a nitpicking.
From the elbow.
I want to know where he
the
got his
neck
coffee
was
from.
chain.
Like, is he like Starbucks? Does he like... Oh, God. No, but come on. Like, you
didn't stand a chance of breaking out of that. Come on.
No, but still, like, this is a guy who he just fought with twice.
Yeah.
2 occasions. And Daredevil damn near took him at least the first time. Right? So I think he knows this is a formidable opponent. I have to make sure he's secured. Especially,
I don't want to kill him because he's not who I'm after.
Exactly.
So,
it doesn't fit his code.
Right.
There's also a good back and forth, a good opportunity for them to sit down and talk without, actually trying to kill each other and all that.
Yeah. It was a really good way to have them just have a conversation, which is what I think we all needed to see, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was a captive audience.
That's the least I've heard you say. Like when you actually, like we point to you.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I totally agreed with that. What you were talking about, to go back a little bit, is you were talking about the criticism that you had. I kind of believe that if they were able to progress it, fine. I really thought that it only took an episode to figure out.
Here's my problem, though.
Because it had 3 different sequences.
I've seen the entire thing twice, and like bits and pieces a third time. The first 4 episodes, by far, were the best of that entire season.
Oh, without a doubt.
That should have just been called Daredevil versus Punisher. It was great. But then after that, like specifically episode 5, there's like a big lull. There's like a big drop off in just exciting shit going on. And then the rest of the season, we'll get into the hand and all that later. It didn't have the same weight for me. It didn't have the same level of it. It was still great, but it wasn't what the first 4 episodes were.
Was it bad that through that lull I was sitting there going, all right, where's Punisher?
Kinda, yeah.
I was.
He's only not in it for 1 episode, but still,
Yeah.
things were more interesting when he was at the forefront, right? Because like the trial was good and all that, but when they were directly in conflict, I think we all thought he was gonna be the big bad of this season, and he wasn't. Like they're really, like Nobu was solid with the hand, but I feel like it missed what it had with Wilson Fisk in the first season because that was just done so freaking well.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe he wasn't the bad. That's why.
I know,
Fisk was bad, so they.
Was he though? He didn't think he was.
He didn't.
That's why he was a.
Most bad guys don't think they're bad.
Some of them do.
And also, I think actually Wilson Fisk is still the big bad guy.
He'll be the overarching, no matter what.
He does a very good
That's
job.
what I'm ready to
we
get
didn't see
into.
it until later in the season, but because I think that was kind of a good rope-a-dope. At first, you think it's going to be the Punisher, and then all of a sudden, Fisk hasn't gone away, and he's going to still do his thing no matter what. And
I agree. I feel like no matter what, Fisk should always be in the background. He should always be mentioned somehow.
And that's
in this show.
I was hoping they didn't get away from that because I didn't even know he was going to be in this season. And then when they show him going into the yard or whatever, and he's lifting weights, I was like, so to see him there in prison because it's like that right there was one of the few. I mean, when they showed Elektra and then freaking even Styx, I was like, I didn't know all these people were going to be in this season. So
I just love the way Vincent D'Onofrio delivers his lines. Like he sits up from the weight bench and he's like, "I see you got my message," or however awesome he says it.
Yeah,
You're just like literally, you were in the living room watching it, and I was in the bedroom, and I just start cheering, and I was like 5 episodes ahead. He's like, "What?" I was like, "Nothing. Shut the fuck up." Just like, ah! This is great. And I think it was great too. Is like their whole conversation, the scene where he just wrecks all the inmates on the tier. That was like one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen.
Yes.
you just have a moment.
Yeah, I did. But I don't know. I love that scene, but it goes with any movie you see where all the bad guys are rushing after the good guy and he's like tearing them up. I'm like, when are you that guy that stays in your cell? Like,
what part am I?
He's killing everybody. Like, I'm staying where I'm at.
I'd have been the guy.
I would have been shutting myself. Like, I'm sorry,
yeah.
sir. I'm sorry.
Close my cell door.
Dude, you're a cop. I don't give a fuck.
They set that up so well though, because when they shut the
God.
gate and Wilson Fisk is there, and then the doors open, like literally, I'm sitting up on the edge of my seat, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and then my girlfriend's like, he's gonna fucking kill all of them, and I'm like, oh shit, he is, like, and then I started cheering, but like, I honestly got a sense of dread. I was like, fuck, because I was just like in awe of the Kingpin setting that up. I was like, well played.
Oh,
when he's standing up there, he's like, thank you.
Yeah, I was like, damn, dude. Like,
you know how funny it is, and a lot of people that watch this show might not understand the significance of it, is that Superman had Lex Luthor. Batman had the Joker. Daredevil's got Wilson Fisk.
Correct. No, yeah, correct.
I think Daredevil has the shorter end of the stick because Wilson Fisk is a badass.
I love how he says when he's trying to get Frank Castle out, and Frank's like, I'm not going to go be your freaking trigger man or whatever. He's like, you need to focus on the short term. He's like, I have the long term. It's like, when I get out, I'm not going to wage a war. I'm going to win one. And I was just like, fuck. Like, can we have season 3 tomorrow?
Well, yeah. No matter what, he is so confident, and he backs it up. He says, it doesn't really matter what you do. I'm coming out and winning anyways. It's like, take care of what you got to do.
Even the conversation afterward when freaking Punisher's all chained up, like that bit of dialogue between the two of them was great. And I like how like they just started fighting, and Punisher's in chains, but still like swinging and still fighting. And he just takes like 4 shots from this gorilla of Wilson Fisk and gets choke slammed, and then is like laughing.
He's laughing.
Yeah, he's just like, okay, this would be a good fight.
And Fisk is pissed, like, release him.
Yeah, and they're like, are you sure? He's like, no. I'm like, fuck. So keep going with the Punisher. I want to talk about him a lot, kind of in the beginning, because I feel he was prominent in the beginning, right? I want to talk about a scene that fucking wrecked me, and it was the graveyard conversation that Daredevil and Punisher have. When he actually explains, when Daredevil is like, what do you say, war bad, shoot bad, and Punisher's like, you fucking heard that, what? And then he explains what happened. Coming back from the war, feeling tired, he couldn't read the story to his daughter, and the next time he's holding her, there's just meat coming out of where her face used to be. I don't even have children, and I was tearing up listening to that. And I like how Daredevil was tearing up, and he thinks Frank was a lunatic. Really, that was all the exposition we needed. Like, I didn't need to see that happen. Bernthal acted his ass off, and like that sold it completely. That's my favorite scene in the entire series, I think. Like, that was just so well done. Did he wreck you guys the way it wrecked me?
It did.
Maybe I'm a pussy and I shouldn't be crying. I'm comic book shows, but whatever. Girlfriend's like, are you crying? I'm like, shut up! Sand in here.
Damn allergies.
We're inside.
I'm glad you pointed that out. You don't have kids, and it affected you that way. I have kids, so
Yeah.
you know,
I
I was
felt
like,
that.
holy crap! Like, you want to hear a story now?
Like, can I read to you, honey? Please.
Wake him up.
I know you're 18. Just shut up and let me read you a story.
Where's the pause button?
But no, like, that was a very human moment for a guy that is this hardened, just killing machine. Like, to just open up and bare his soul like that. And again, the way he acted, he didn't oversell anything. He didn't, like, emphasize any specific point too much. Just everything about it felt completely natural. You know, and it was... Oh, I'm going to cry now.
Well, how brutal he was with the criminal element that he had targeted. So he's fucking them up, but at the same time, he's very subtly showing compassion to the innocents. Karen, thank you. How his relationship with her, I loved through this show.
Yeah.
And
Does anybody else think Karen wanted him?
no,
You don't think
it was
so?
more of a father figure thing I got from that. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
No. I'm not the one who said that. Again, Summer thought that she wanted him. I don't think she did either, but
I don't think she did either.
I think she respected him and she
respected
empathized
him.
with him.
Yeah. I think it was more the empathy thing, personally, to tell you the truth.
I love how, again, you have this hardened character, and then all of a sudden, in like one random episode, he's giving Karen life advice.
Right?
Which can,
Exactly.
Which can come off so stupid and cheesy, but the way they did it and the way he acted was just brilliant. Like, and it sounds like something that dude would say. You know what I mean?
Once the guard gives him the look, the rant in the courtroom.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
I think she wanted Foggy.
She doesn't want Foggy. Foggy wants her
when they
in
were
a
in
bad
trial
way.
every time you like lawyered somebody.
No,
like,
I think Karen likes lawyer stuff because anytime Foggy like lawyers somebody and Matt lawyers somebody, Karen's just like, yeah, you lawyer them, alright. Like she,
Lawyer.
I think she's the kind of person that could just open up the criminal code and just be like, oh yeah, like. Jeez. But no, she did.
So one thing I really enjoy with this series is how the heroes are, you know, they get messed up just as much as like it's not like
Poor
they're
Daredevil.
untouchable. Like
How
Daredevil, a
flawed
lot of
is that
times.
motherfucker?
Well, when he's fighting, a lot of
He
times,
gets his ass
sometimes you
kicked.
see he'll get hit, so he can gauge where these guys are, especially when he fights the hand. Like, it's awesome. He does. It's not like he can't be hit. Like he gets messed up. And Punisher, even in that tear scene, he got messed up.
I feel like Brenthal was bleeding most of this series.
Oh, man, he was
always
scarred
cut.
up through the whole thing, pretty much.
So, going into, like, the torture scene that Daredevil saved him from, I didn't even notice it, but I thought when he was in the van, he was just bandaging his arm. And I didn't even realize, no, you pointed out to me, he cut his arm open to hide a razor blade, so that way he could escape later. Yeah. Now, that guy is more of a man than I will ever be, because holy shit. Like, that is commitment to what you're doing, and that is a pain tolerance.
Kids, please do not try that at home.
Don't put a razor blade in your skin. Because, like, how are you holding a position? Every time you move, it's going to be
cut
cutting
shit,
you.
Right,
yeah.
He was on top. So, but still, it's kind of cuts you regardless.
Well,
Yeah.
that's kind of like how in Highlander the Immortals were able to hide swords in their coats with no sheath.
Yeah, it's like, where the hell's that at?
You're getting cut the fuck up no matter if they're healing or
I
not.
think he plans to get tortured. And as he's getting tortured, is like talking shit. You know what I mean? Like, that was just so Punisher to me. It was freaking amazing.
Torture, speaking about Stick. Those things in his finger.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
dude.
rough. Stick is awesome. I'm very glad Stick is back, and for more than one episode.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like, that was
Well,
pretty
look at the the other Punisher stuff. There's been movies done on them, and most of them were sucky except for one.
Whoa, which one?
The,
Just hit a button.
the John guy. The one with John Travolta in it.
Oh, you mean the Punisher with Thomas Jane?
Thomas Jane.
Okay, I'll
that's
give you
it.
this. I liked Thomas Jane as the Punisher. That was not a good movie, though.
I'm going to have to agree to disagree. I
Okay.
liked that movie,
No,
but...
you could like a movie and it could not be good.
Yeah, that's true. I like Thomas... Well, to make a long story short, save a whole lot of
It
arguing.
wasn't a good movie.
I liked that
You like-
movie better than the other ones,
The Warzone?
but by far
Okay, I'll agree with you that Thomas
Shane's
Jane.
the fucking
I
Punisher.
thought Thomas Jane should still be the Punisher before Brenthal got it.
Exactly.
If you guys have seen, if you haven't seen it, go to YouTube and type in Punisher Dirty Laundry. It's a 10-minute short film with Thomas Jane as the Punisher, and that 10 minutes up until this season came out was the best Punisher movie I had ever seen. But I still think Brenthal blew him away.
He totally did.
Yeah. So going back to the fights and how Daredevil gets messed up, I think we could agree that the best fight scene from season 1 was probably Nobu just wrecking him with his little spear thing.
That was that was the best fight. But the fight that really got me hooked on this was the
fight.
hallway.
Okay, yeah, we'll get on that. But we're talking about him getting messed up though. So
Well, he got messed up in season 1 in the hallway with those Russians.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
got messed
no.
up. He was
He
already
did.
messed up from before.
yeah, he almost died against Nobu though.
And then I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's what really.
That's what
pulled
hooked
me
him.
in.
Yeah,
As far as the fight
I feel like
scenes
that's
and how
when-
they choreographed the fight scenes,
That was so
and how
good to
real
make
they
it look
looked.
like one shot.
And the guy was so tired, he's pushing himself off of walls to punch these guys.
And what
Like,
I loved
the
about that
energy,
too is
he-
like it's so many superhero stuff, and Arrow does this all the time. It's like, oh, Arrow's a normal guy, no superpowers. I'm gonna punch you once, and you're unconscious. And this fight scene, and in this show a lot, Daredevil's wailing on dudes, and then goes to the next guy, and then that guy gets back up because that's probably what would happen. And I love how it showed him fatiguing through the scene.
Yes.
He's tired, his hands are lower, he's breathing heavy. Like that was completely well done. Was that the point that hooked you guys, or were you in it before?
I don't know. I just thought him as Daredevil in general was also the visualization of how he moves around the world
Mm-hmm.
was better than the movie. I did not like the movie at all.
To be fair, Daredevil is very acrobatic, and he does run and jump and uses like grapple stick a lot. And we kind of saw that at the end of the season, but they went way overboard in the movie. Like they made him flip like Spider-Man. I'm like, how
Yeah.
could he jump that far? Like, stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not like the movie.
You don't like the movie at all?
No.
Like nothing. Did you see the director's cut? It's a little bit better.
Maybe I'll go back. It's
So,
been like
I'm
10
not gonna
years.
say it's good. It's
All right,
just-
it's been like 10
I
years.
don't,
So
I don't
I'll go
hate
back
that
and watch
movie
it.
the way a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I got my fun out of it. I don't need to watch it all the time though.
We've talked about
Parts
it,
of it make
and
me
we
sad.
decided that Affleck was the best part of the movie.
Yeah, he was not the bad part for
No,
people.
without a
that
doubt.
know.
The movie was the bad part.
The movie
Yeah,
was the
the
best
movie
part,
was the best
without a
part.
doubt.
Again, another fun drunk movie to watch, I think, for us to do. So yeah, okay, so then my big question is, you know, I love seeing Stick come back, and I thought Elektra was okay for what they had her doing. She didn't really captivate me at all. Like, I didn't really care about her.
Right.
I feel like Matt Murdock has not learned not to stick your dick in crazy. Like, he's still trying. It's funny because, like, okay, do we give a shit about Matt and Karen? Let's start there. Do we care? Do we want them together? Do we not want them? Do we give a shit?
I kind of do.
I do too.
Okay.
I kind of do.
Tell me why, because then I'm going to tell you why I don't
Solely
care.
because
I hate when you do this.
it's the whole romantic thing. It's, I believe that just because you're a superhero and you save the day, you don't have to be lonely.
No, I want him to get laid. I just don't think it should be Karen.
does.
Oh,
He's
he's
not
a
lonely.
pimp. That
He's got like 3
he-
women in this. Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
like-
He takes
Well, they
chicks
make it a
home
point
on
to
the
show
run.
that he's like a player.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Like, he works that blind thing, because I would. Even if I didn't have superpowers. I'd just be like, I'm blind.
Where you at? Where you
You have to
at?
do that on the weekend anyway.
I
Just put on a
do.
pair of glasses and a stick.
I always move out of the way of stuff, so they always follow me on it, though. I'm like, hang on, a car's coming. How do you know? I don't.
You got to trip every once in a while.
cane
I know, I gotta really
He
sell it.
watches people, girls walk by him, but he has a cane. Yeah, so it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Sorry, I heard your ass.
Here's my problem with that. That whole thing seemed a little forced to me because I totally get why Karen would be into Matt, right? He's a good-looking dude. He's got the blind thing going. He's a lawyer, which apparently she likes, right?
Obviously.
Yeah.
I don't get why he gives a shit about her, though. And I feel like when he finally did start to make his move, it's like, he was like, yeah, well, I know she wants me, and she's just kind of there, and, well, she's like the nice girl, and I date a bunch of, like, bad chicks, and maybe I should give the nice girl a try. You know what I mean? It's the equivalent of when a chick is done dating all these fucking douchebag dudes, and I'm like, oh, let me date the accountant, because he's safe. And then, the second Elektra shows up, he's like, I don't got time for you, Karen. Talk to Foggy about it. I'm gonna go play with Elektra now.
And then
And
he
the
fucks everybody over
That's the
doing
reason
it.
why I don't care, because he doesn't care. He does
doesn't,
not care the way she cares, and so thus immediately I was like, I'm not invested, because that's not who he's gonna end up with or who he's gonna be with. It's kind of like why I didn't give a shit with Arrow and freaking Felicity, aside from them butchering her character. I was like, he's gonna end up with Laurel. Like, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like, that's gonna end at some point. in the stupidest way possible. We'll fucking talk about that in a little while.
How you really feel?
Fuck you, Damian Black.
You know, so, and I will say, I try to sell this show to a lot of my friends who don't like superhero shit, because I remember before you watched it, I told you, this was one of, if not the best, superhero adaptations, period. Right? To the point where it almost doesn't even feel like a superhero show. And I think him running around in like black Under Armour and shit at the beginning kind of helps sell that point. But when it gets to like the dumb love stuff, I feel like it was falling into a cliche that lots of shows do. So, yes, no.
I agree.
So you still want him to be with Karen, though?
I agree with what you said. You know, that I might have to take that back, because now I could give a rat's ass, because it's more...
I'm sorry.
You know what I mean?
That's why I hate when he does that. Like,
Yeah.
I want this.
He's
like,
so
I'll explain to
psychology-
you why you don't really want this.
He's so psychiatrist-esque, didn't he?
You really don't care.
I don't... Yeah.
Or just like,
These
I
aren't the
care about
droids
Matt and
you're
Karen.
looking
I'm like,
for.
no. Like, fuck
Yeah.
Matt and Karen.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Oh god.
I feel like they just struggle to find Karen shit to do. Also, like, it's like, oh hey, you're gonna be our legal secretary, even though you've never done that before. Hey, you're gonna go write for a paper, even though you've never done that
Yeah.
before.
Hey, go
It's
talk
like,
to Fran.
Yeah.
Like, I was fine with them doing the back and forth in this season, but they need to figure out what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
Because I hate when shows drag it out for 5 seasons.
Yeah.
They either
You're not
together
building
or
tension.
not.
You're
Just
boring
figure it
me.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
But the
just-
problem is, like, you know they're gonna do it in season 3 because at the end he whips out the helmet. He's like, "Oh, I'm Daredevil." And she's like, "Oh," you know. So,
It's just
so
That's way better than a
so
lawyer.
let's transition. Do we care about him and Elektra? Because again, I thought he wasn't gonna do anything with Elektra, and then at the end, right before they go have their final battle,
Yeah.
he's like, "Well, let's go to a beach somewhere and have Corona or some shit." And it's like,
She's no good for him.
no,
so-
but it's like.
Uh,
Not even the fact that it's no good. Do you care? If they got together, would you care one way or another?
no.
Then that's a fail on the show. Because you should have an opinion one
No,
way or another.
I do care. Because I think that he becomes the Daredevil he doesn't want to be. If
He's with her?
Yeah, if he's with
Yeah.
Elektra.
Not even that he won't kill, but yeah.
Just say he becomes a different person. He starts neglecting his true friends.
But
and-
Yeah.
that's what bothered me about the whole thing with Elektra.
I will say this. I find it funny that he goes to Karen at the end of the show to be like, "Hey, I'm Daredevil. Let's make this work." After Elektra dies, when he was just like, "Hey, no, we're gonna make this work, and I'm gonna abandon all my friends and go to an island with you somewhere." You're dead. Hey, Karen, what are you doing tomorrow night?
That's what we call Plan B, sir.
And I don't hate.
That's
Karen.
called a hoe on speed dial, homie.
I should point out, I don't hate Deborah Ann Wool, I should say. I kind of don't like Karen. So we don't care about Elektra. We don't want him with Elektra, and I think we don't care about Karen, right?
Well, now we don't.
So, what's that leave? Wilson Fisk or Foggy?
I like Foggy. Okay, so let's get to the hand stuff. Nobu and Stick and all that. Did we think that Nobu, and I love Nobu, I think he's a badass. Do we think he was he was kind of the main antagonist, if you think about it. He was really the driving force that they were fighting. Was that solid enough? Like, did that... Because that felt a little weak to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like the hand should have been something going on also while the big bad was still here.
Right.
That's why I like... And I might not have even noticed as much if Wilson Fisk wasn't so fucking good in the first season.
True.
So...
Oh, I think
completely
the
agree.
hand went back in the pocket, for lack of a better term, once they showed Fisk and he said I heard you got my message. I was like,
I was like, who cares about
who's the hand?
Yeah.
Exactly. It was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even think about Fisk up until they showed him. It's like I almost forgot about him because they didn't talk about him.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't show any other clips until that part there. And then it's like, he's had his hand in the pie the whole time. That's a bad
I
guy.
felt like they were building toward something. Because as soon as the ninja showed up and like they kind of explained the hand, I'm like, that's cool. But what's that big hole about? Like, what are they building to? What's going to be the big reveal? And I'm like, oh.
The
okay.
Terradrome.
The what?
The freaking Ninja Turtles. The things
Oh,
like
shut
that.
No, but
Sorry,
they're
had
doing
to
this.
do that.
They're doing this big. I didn't even know what you were talking about. And it just like popped in my head, and I was like, "Fuck you."
Speaking of which, we will be reviewing the new Turtle movie, won't we, Vic?
I'm gonna rip that movie,
I'm
you
not gonna
asshole.
watch that.
Here's the thing: I have zero desire to watch that movie, like at all. The first movie I did because I'm a big Ninja Turtles fan from back in the day. That movie can eat a bowl of dicks. So I had zero desire to watch this movie. But now since we're doing this channel, I'm gonna have to. And the only joy I will get from spending my hard-earned money on that movie is to come rip it the fuck apart.
Anyway,
or if it's good. I mean,
back to Daredevil.
Okay, well, back on the hand. I don't exactly. I don't care about the hand except for the fact I just want to know what's going on. Other than that, I couldn't
it was
give a
kind of a
shit.
letdown. Like, it was kind of at the end, and it's like, okay, Black Sky.
Yeah.
What?
So what?
Like, no, but it's like,
Really?
okay, Elektra's
Yeah.
Black Sky because she likes to kill people, but that other little dude is Black Sky. So is like Black Sky just somebody you anoint in a position to have people blindly follow you?
No,
is there no real power there?
I think they actually gave her, like, through the vats and everything, they gave her a power. I'm
When
not sure
she
what
died?
it is. Yeah, when she died.
Okay, when they bring it
and
back.
came back, yeah. She's somehow imparted with some power.
Okay, but so my question
I don't
is...
know. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, we're speculating here,
Yeah,
but my question
based
is
just
this.
on watching the season.
Can
Stills.
you pick, like, can somebody be like, Jeremy's Black Sky, he needs to die, and then we're going to put our tubes in
No,
and
I
bring
think
it back,
I think
or-
it was probably something innate in her, but it was released, whatever it is, when she got resurrected.
Right, because
Stick had known who she was from the giddy up. There was
When she was
something
younger.
about her when she
had-
was younger. Exactly.
I think she
But
had to
all-
die and be
Okay,
resurrected.
but all they showed for her being young was the desire to kill. That's it.
Yeah.
And here's my other problem. Fucking Matt's like, no, Elektra, you can be good. You can be good. She's like, fuck it, I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be good. Hey, Elektra, you're a Black Sky. No, I don't know. Maybe I should be bad, kind of. And I'm
Or
like,
maybe being resurrected actually doesn't impart to her any special powers. It just helps her let go of her inhibitions.
I think
You know,
that might
like
be
that
the
part
case.
that's holding her back.
Order
Maybe.
humanity.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a symbolic position, though. I think Black Sky is just meant to be an idol for these freaking people to follow blindly into war. I think that's what I got from it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
she might very well
yeah.
get powers or something, but we don't know yet.
Right.
But either way, I still don't really care.
Here's the thing. I loved Daredevil Season 2, and I thought lots of it was great. I just feel like it didn't have a singular focus the way Season 1 did. Season 1, I would argue, is slower at times, in a lot of ways, but at least we knew what it was building toward, and we could feel it coming. And this, I was just like, well, the ninjas are cool. I like the whole, like, you know, tracking their swords and, like, tracking their breath, and, like, the fights were great. I feel like they did a lot more with the fights, which was great, but it just didn't have the same push to me.
And other than the whole the Punisher aspect, the most interesting thing for me in the season was Wilson Fisk.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Seeing him do his thing in prison was really
that was the
good.
best.
And if they,
So-
I want to see season 3. I
So
just,
more
I want,
Wilson Fisk.
Yeah, I just
sorry.
want Wilson.
So,
Fisk.
and
I don't
two-
care if they bring in
the-
some other bad guy.
Yeah.
I want Wilson.
Like Bullseye could be
Yeah.
there, I guess, but I want Wilson
Yeah.
Fisk. So here's
Actually,
the
really Bullseye though. Really, after
not
that,
Colin. Okay,
yeah, I can't.
really, like you're
No.
you're
Cast
getting
him right.
over it for
No.
other characters.
I can't.
If they cast him right,
As long as he doesn't have a fucking
Okay,
thing
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing. When he was talking to Matt in prison,
That was
Wilson
the-
Fisk, and Matt's like trying to nut up on him,
Oh,
he's
God.
like, just. He's like, I will find you, and I will freaking wreck you and flog you and all that. And he's like, no, it was just me. And then at the end, later, he's just like, give me more stuff about Matt Murdock. Like, he's going to figure it out. For those of you who don't know, there's a graphic novel about the Punisher that came out where Wilson Fisk discovers his identity. And I won't say how, Karen tells him. Karen becomes a junkie and a porn star, kind of, and she gives up Matt's identity to the Kingpin for a fucking rock. I hope they do that, because then something interesting would happen with her.
That would be so,
So,
badass.
so let me go back to Fisk destroying
Handcuffs.
Matt at the freaking.
Well, yeah, because so then he's gonna wreck his life. So I think that season 3, that's what's gonna happen.
yeah,
He's gonna
with-
wreck his life.
With that scene though, I mean, you think about how Matt wants to fight back, but he can't because he's just this
he
blind
didn't get
lawyer.
her. Well, I love
He
how
did
he
get
punched,
one. He
and
did
he's
get
like,
one.
"Oh yes, the son of a boxer," and I'm like, "I love Kingpin."
So like, but he can't do what Daredevil does because then we kind of
Yeah, he could have got out of that,
Could
but
have,
he,
yeah,
yeah.
could have messed him up. But I'm like, he gets his ass whooped, banged to the table or whatever, and he like stumbles out. Like he gets pretty fucked up.
I
He
gotta
lets-
say,
yeah,
the
pretty much lets it
symbolism
happen.
of the handcuffs, though,
Yeah.
that was crazy because then it
That-
finally dawns
you-
on Murdoch.
You know what that equated to me in my head? In Man of Steel, he's like, "Let's put our cards on the table." Click.
Yeah,
Like, that was the same. He was just like,
pretty
"No,
much.
fuck you."
And that's
Like-
what it was. I mean, he pretty much said, "Fuck you."
He's brute strength. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what he is. Look how much he was lifting. I mean,
Oh,
disc that you have, how many 45s do you
Yeah,
have on there?
45 plates on each side. I did the
Jeez.
math during the episode, and I
I'm
was
sure
like,
you did.
so,
That's what I maxed in
okay,
high
so
school.
the one thing is the finale was whatever. I liked how Punisher shows up at the end and starts shooting the ninjas. I feel like they could have done more with that. I feel like it should have, let's kill Elektra, and let's have Matt go after Nobu, but let's have 12 ninjas show up and try to like kill him, and Punisher just starts picking all
They
them off.
weren't running out of ninjas until that point.
Yeah, all of a sudden there's like, oh, there's 3 ninjas. I was like, fucking, when they were getting away in the car, there's ninjas on every fucking rooftop. Let Punisher kill more people, because that was the money shot with him and the skull, finally.
The way he said there were some on the roof and more coming from downstairs. What happened to the ones from downstairs? Like
They got scared when Punisher started shooting.
So they were smarter than the prisoners that just came out.
Apparently. It's like, hey, he's killing our friends. Let's get the fuck out of here. So the trial of Punisher was great. I think we can all agree on that, right? Did we care about the twist? Did we care about the blacksmith, like the person who set up the meet between all of them, and how Punisher finds out it's his old? Like, did anybody care about that?
I did. I liked that.
Okay.
I like the actor too.
Oh no, he was great. Even when he was in the trial defending him.
Yeah.
And she's like, "How did you know? Like you weren't there?" And he's like,
"You're always hearsay."
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, actually, I was that dumbass who got his arm blown off." Like that was great. I love that.
And
I feel like that was just kind of in there because we needed Punisher to find the guy who set it up, though.
You cared, and he's gonna explain to you why you shouldn't care. Again.
oh, this time I'm going to be a steel trap.
Okay, no, it's fine that you care. No, it was interesting.
So dismissive.
So condescending.
It was interesting, and here's the thing. I liked season 2, and my first run through, I was like, this is better than season 1. And then my second run through, I was like, parts are. It's not as focused though. Like still, on a scale of 1 to 10, if I had to rate it, it's a fucking 9. Like it was phenomenal, like all the way through. But I'm just, these are the points that kind of I felt could have been done better. Says the asshole who's never made a TV show in his life.
I really agree with. I have to stick to my guns though. I like the way they introduced him. I mean, it was so believable how loyal this guy was to Frank Castle, and then to have him be the heavy.
Yeah,
I thought they did a great job.
That was cool. I liked though how Karen was crying and she's like, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do this, like blah 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 blah. And she's like, if you do this, I'm done. I'll never help you. And he's just like, and who cares? And shuts the door. He says like I died a long time, or Frank Castle's already dead, something. Yeah. Because in his brain he's not Frank Castle anymore. Yep. He's the Punisher. And to me, like when he shut the door, that solidified it. I was like, now he's gonna be the character that we want him to be. So let's talk about this point real quick before we wrap up. Should Punisher get his own Netflix series?
Yes.
So we're all on yes?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Would you watch it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to say yes, but I'm going to say my one reservation. My one reservation is I think Punisher is at his best when he's a force of fucking nature, when he just comes through, wrecks everything. And I feel like that character doesn't need an arc. He doesn't need to develop, because if he develops, he's not in this wall of pain that makes him just want to murder everybody. So that's why I think he's very good as a supporting character. If he were the protagonist of his own 13-episode series, there has to be an arc. And I don't want him to mature as a person, though. I want him to stay this guy.
I think it might be better to keep him as a crossover guy.
So I changed his mind again.
No. I would like the idea, but it makes total sense.
Yeah, I'm just saying, do you
Jedi mind trick.
It's like, no. Do you think that, my question is, do you think that they could adhere to the character of the Punisher and still give him 13 hours?
Yeah, because he could go after all of the different people who had even something remotely to do with his children's death.
I don't even care about remotely to do. I love the scene where he buys the police scanner and is walking away. He's like, hey, do you want 12-year-old kiddie porn? He's like, and bats. Like, that was great.
So here's one route they could develop him as a character and still keep him relatively the same, which is have him, after he's done dispatching everybody that had anything to do with his family's death, they could have him go after other people that might cause the same situation to occur to somebody else. And in that way he becomes a hero, but he becomes the hero that doesn't mind going through, boxes and boxes of 50 cal.
I think too, in a lot of Punisher comics, he crosses over a lot with other heroes. Daredevil, Spider-Man, stuff like that. And it's always interesting because they're always at odds. They're always clashing. They're always fighting because of what he's doing they don't agree with. So I think if we're going to have a Punisher show, there has to be crossovers with other heroes. We have to see other MCU characters crossing over.
Like Luke Cage.
Yes, anything like that. Yeah, totally. Anything like that would be fantastic. But we need to see his clash not only with villains, but with other superheroes also.
Right.
The way they did with Daredevil this season. You know what I mean? Also, fucking Luke Cage looks great, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Luke
So,
Cage.
That looked great.
Trailer
Okay.
after the, yeah.
So let's do final thoughts.
Oh, you
Final
mean the
thoughts.
series.
I meant the actor. But
Okay.
I meant the series.
Jeez.
So okay. So final thoughts on the series.
Sorry.
On the series
I
as a
had
whole.
to.
Let's talk about final thoughts on the season. Final thoughts on the series. What you want to see, and did you think this season was better than season 1? Go ahead.
I thought it was better overall than season 1, but I still liked season 1 Wilson Fisk. That was
I
him being the main bad guy. Still supersedes season 2.
I agree with that almost completely. You?
I believe that you need to tell me what
Fuck,
I
you
believe.
took, I was gonna let you talk and then be like, well, let me tell you what John believes.
Yeah, no. So I thought I knew I beat you to the punch.
Fuck.
Thank you.
Well played.
So I'm gonna have to stick with. It's hard because more OMG moments in the second season.
Yeah.
But the development of Wilson Fisk in the first season, I'm gonna have to go with
He was
that.
so much more interesting than Daredevil. Like, okay, I felt like Daredevil season 1 was Kingpin starring Daredevil, and then this was Punisher starring
Yeah,
Daredevil.
pretty much.
And I'm oddly okay with that.
Surprisingly at ease with that.
You?
I like season 2 better than season 1.
Okay.
On some points, okay. So with season 2, I like the actions, the OMG moments. You know, those were awesome to me. I do like to see how Daredevil's become more of the Daredevil we've all seen in the comics. Now, how his uniform has been upgraded
Yes,
with the
I like
armor.
the red helmet.
and
way
the guy
better.
that helps him with it, and then
Oh,
you know,
fuck,
those
yes,
little
that
And
guy's
the
great.
stick, guys.
Yeah.
the,
That
the
stick.
weapon that he brings to him, and you know, tells him what
What?
it is and how he uses it. He only uses it once. He doesn't overdo it. Well, he swings with it once.
Yeah.
We'll
He
see
doesn't
that more
overdo it,
next
yeah.
time. He's progressing.
Right, it's
Yeah.
not overdone like in the Ben Affleck.
That guy's
movie.
great too. What is the name of the dude who keeps helping him?
I can't remember his
Because he's a
name.
character in the comics.
Yeah.
He actually, when he was wearing the armor, like, he's
Yeah.
kind of. I love how he's just like, we know who really protects Hell's Kitchen. Like, don't we keep each other safe? Like, I love that guy. Like, I want to see him wreck some people.
So
Great.
these progression points in season 2, this is what I like to see. That's what I like in this season. Like season 1, as far as the origins, was awesome. You know, the where Wilson Fisk was and who he develops into. Also with Daredevil wearing the black, you know, clothing, you know, with the little mask or whatever, and it gets better. But season 2, I really, like I said, it just
You like the
progressed.
development.
The development, the progression, the fight scenes, the action, you know.
So I think
season 2.
I think we'll all agree that Daredevil as a whole is fucking phenomenal.
Yes.
It is a great example of how you could properly adapt a comic book property, but still take liberties and new changes that still work overall as a show, right? And I would argue that Daredevil season 1 and 2 is better than the first 2 seasons of almost any other superhero show. And I count The Flash in that. Because 2 is not as good as 1. So...
Also, any
We'll talk about The Flash. I love The Flash.
any on-screen moment where you see Rosario Dawson in
Yeah, she's
Scrubs
great.
is amazing.
Yeah.
I love that she's like the glue that's going to hold the Defenders together,
Yeah.
but I want her to be a bigger role in the MCU. Like, she should be a superhero.
should.
But we'll take what we can get. So, we're not going to give number ratings for seasons because that would get kind of weird.
Right.
But we all love Daredevil season 2, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
we love Daredevil, and
As
we
a
love all the
series.
other Marvel properties coming out on Netflix.
Yep.
We're excited for all that. So yeah, if you haven't seen Daredevil yet, fucking watch Daredevil. Watch season 1, and then watch season 2. Enjoy all of it. Any other final thoughts that we want to add?
Good.
Good?
Do you have final thoughts for John?
What am I thinking right now?
He thinks I'm a good-looking cat. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you all for joining us on this episode of the world's greatest news and reviews. Stay tuned for our upcoming videos. I think the next one will be about The Walking Dead Season 6. Should be our next video that'll be up. Thank you guys again.
Thank you.
Peace out.